All right, 3 things I want to discuss in this video based on comments and reflecting back on my build are battery, how to make sure you have the battery in the correct position that's charged. 2, make sure that, or how do I align the handlebars with the front wheel because it's out of whack. And then the third thing we'll wrap up on is how to get the front wheel safety hook, how to just get the front wheel on and locked. Regarding the battery, if you're finding that you're having some issues with the bike's just not turning on, one of the things you may want to check is on the is make sure that you get the actual battery installed correctly. Now you may be able to charge it in this port down here, but one of the things I would just do is take your key, and also note in some older directions you can just do like a little quarter turn and that should lock it, and you can take the key out. I don't see a way to lock the bike like that. It's either I turn the key and the battery pops out, or there's no in between. But point here is when you take this battery out, you can now go ahead and charge it inside. And actually, if you live in a very hot or cold climate, it's probably a really good idea to take the battery out and put it inside the house to charge it. But note here, you have an actual on-off switch for the battery. So make sure that's on the on position. I don't know, maybe it came default in the off position and that's why some folks are having trouble. So again, just make sure that's on, make sure the battery's been charged. If your power charger doesn't go from red to green, I wouldn't get too hung up on that because mine didn't. I think maybe just patience wise I didn't give it a full 4 hours, but go ahead, put the battery back in, give the key a complete turn so you can take the key out. Go ahead, put the power on the bike, and mine shows as fully charged even though I never got the green. So hopefully that will help with that. Now when it comes to the alignment of and let me raise, I can't get this any higher for right now, and I have another video, or somebody else did, that really shows the good way to go ahead and adjust. So if your wheel is not lining up with the handlebar, they give a very good, they have a very good video, but I'm just going to show you quickly how to you get to what they're talking about. So when you go ahead and disengage the handlebar stem here and take it down, and let's see if I can just get the camera up here. So what I want to show is there is an Allen wrench nut right here that you can loosen up, get your handlebar aligned as needed, and then retighten it. So again, there's another video that does it much better, shows you exactly how to do it, but I just wanted to point that out so that you know what they're talking about. All right, so now lastly, we were talking about how to get the front wheel on, and I'm going to just position the camera here. I might have to do some editing magic and redo this so that it doesn't look such like a collaborating mess. And I think in my first demo of this, I had my big head in the way, so you don't want to see my big head. So let's see if this does a trick. All right, so what happens is, and as I'm getting this ready, I'm just going to undo what I did here real quick. But one of the things I do recommend when you're doing this for the first time, you're trying to get the front wheel on your bike, I would really recommend that you put the bike upside down. That gives you plenty of time to go ahead, get the wheels lined up in the spokes correctly, make sure that the disc pad is put into the in between the pads. Did I say that right? Make sure that the disc is in between the pads correctly and all lined up. And when the bike's upside down, that just gives you more time and less stress. All right, so now this is what gets it's provided in a box separate. You'll notice there are 3 main components, right? There's the nut, the lock washer with the tab, and then the spring. And you're going to want to go ahead, take those 3 items on the right side off, as I showed here. You then take this, again, for lack of a better word, the safety hook. You're going to go ahead and put it through the wheel, starting on the left. There's a little tab. As I mentioned before, this guy, there is a you want to, when it goes on, you're going to want to make sure that it's in that tab hole up here on top. And I don't know if my head just got in the way. But first, you got to put the spring on. And the spring goes narrow first. You then go ahead, put the lock washer on. And I'm not going to worry about lining it up right now because I just need to get this magical third hand in place to go ahead and get this nut on. Because that's the tricky part. Once you get the nut kind of semi-tight, all right, now I got a little bit of room here. I'm going to go ahead now and take this washer, make sure it gets lined up in that top, which it just did. Now I can go ahead and hand tighten. And I'm going to go ahead and just, again, directions to say hand tighten. I'm going to do it until I get no more resistance. And then on this side, you just go ahead and simply close it to lock. And that is now how you get your front wheel on safely and fasten it. And then do a double check and make sure, again, from a hand tighten standpoint, everything is hand tightened. So that's it. If anything else, let me know, but enjoy.